For May the 17th, 2024, we talk about Crow Country, Animal Well, Diablo IV, and much more. Welcome to level 500. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm Moxie.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. You heard it in the little intro there. It is episode number 500.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be just a regular kind of episode. I don't have anything.
What, with the grind, the
yeah, we're just skipping the banter. Yeah.
We're 500 episodes old. We ain't got time for this shit.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a 27-year-old making a super big deal out of their birthday. It's like, sorry, that's only when you turn 30 and then 40.
I think we're excited for our 100th episode, but every 100 after that, we're just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
I was excited for 420, but
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, it's nice. It's been, we started this version of the show, I think November of 2012, something like that. So about 12 years. Don't do the math on how many episodes we missed, please.
I actually preemptively did this over the weekend.
You nerd.
No, my girlfriend was asking me, like how often do you skip an episode? Like, out of how many weeks? So,
Okay. Yeah. We're probably about like 70 behind, something like that, over the course of that, maybe.
I think it averages out like every month and a half. We're off an episode.
Gotcha. Well, that's not bad. I don't.
Yeah, that's
I don't
actually
feel
really good
terrible
compared to what
that.
I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that is the advantage of having 5 hosts.
Yes.
Which sad we could not have Jala here for the episode. However, I believe she will be on the stream.
She is going to. I have encouraged her to at least dial in on the Discord chat. Yeah, just because she will be out of town for a fitness obstacle course event.
She being healthy.
Yeah, which is just like her. Not the being out of part thing. There's the healthy thing. But yeah, Jal has made a huge difference for our for us being able to do as many episodes as we do. Oh,
not many things you've done 500 of, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I've done 500 epic sufferings, more of that. Yeah, I don't know. Once it's a little bit like we said. After a while, it stops. It like a little bit of the shine comes off of marking the occasion.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Just the work is the work, right?
Yeah, well, I thought I believe we ended the previous incarnation of the show at 250.
150, I think.
Well, really? It was only 150?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then
we had
way
a Pokemon tie-in.
doubled.
It was really weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, episode 500. We should say we were talking about the streaming thing. As of today, when this is coming out, if you're listening on the Friday, which is I believe that it'll be the 17th. Yeah.
Correct.
If you're listening on Friday the 17th, then you can tune in twitch.tv/Duckfeed.tv. We are going to be streaming some content warning. The seemingly very funny multiplayer game about getting social media clips of monsters attacking each other. So that'll be a good time. Go ahead.
Does that imply that we're monsters if they're attacking us?
All it takes for a monster to succeed is for slightly less monstrous monsters to,
For good
to
people
film
to
it and
stand
put it
by
on
and film
YouTube.
it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Ben, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. I'm trying to think. Saw the Aurora Borealis over the weekend,
Oh, sweet.
which was awesome.
You lucky
yeah.
bastard.
I think that makes
Yeah.
one of us. Moxie,
Yeah.
did you see it?
No, I went out, but I didn't realize apparently it was not a thing that happens like all night. It's only like a specific time of the night or something.
Huh. I couldn't find that information anywhere, so I went out. I went out after I streamed both nights, and then that was about it. How far did you have to go to see it, Ben?
Not far at all. So we ate dinner downtown, and we were taking the last water taxi to West Seattle, and so it started appearing like as we were taking the water taxi away from the city.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
super
You
sick.
see, that's how you get Cthulhu.
The photos make it look a lot more impressive than it is in real life. Don't get me wrong, it was cool in real life, but like it's like a white light in real life, whereas like if you hold your camera up and take a picture, it's all green on
Yeah.
the camera. So it's kind of bizarre.
Something about how more of your rods, you're seeing more with your rods, and the rods just don't discern color. Yeah. Your cones are offline.
I would like to think that this is the universe making up for me missing both eclipses over the past 6 years. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the form of that I had heard, Ben, was like, you'll be able to see it on your phone before you can see it in real life. And so as we didn't get to see it, but we were out looking for it, and we kept on looking through our phones. And I was hanging out with my mother-in-law and went through this long-winded explanation of why I was entertained, because this was like a game that had a thing with a camera, kind of where you could only see the ghosts through the camera. And I think I lost her about halfway through, but I was trying, damn it.
There's something about, I assume, people in their mid-60s. They really just don't jibe with the Fatal Frame series.
No.
They're not so much into it.
No.
Yeah.
it's too real.
Didn't connect.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you got to see it. I'm glad at least one of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Moxie, how about you?
Honestly, not a whole heck of a lot. I'm helping a friend with a try to get a outfit done for a con that she's going to. Mm-hmm. So that's was a lot of last weekend. Let's see here. And then actually tomorrow I'm going to the local movie theater is streaming a live like script reading of the first Transformers movie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is Orson
So
Welles
now-
going to be there?
I don't know why.
He's been dead for 40 years.
I'm very confused.
Orson Welles voiced the planet, the big robot planet.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah.
So my friends are much bigger Transformers fans than I am.
Yeah.
I just what I really want to see is I want to know if they can transform while someone is riding in them.
Okay, crushes them to bits.
Yeah. Like, and if not, I feel like they could have solved a lot of their problems by just, at least all the human problems, by just luring one of the bad guys into a seeming taxi cab.
It's just like, what was the point of hiding if you weren't going to use it for mimic assassinations?
Exactly.
I'm curious why Transformers missed us, Moxie, when our friend Kyle, who was 1 year older than us, was like not like super into them, but like way more into them than we are. Was that was 1 year just the difference there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's especially weird because, like, I really like, sci-fi and robots and, all the things that you would think would be, would lead to that being my jam.
Yeah. Huh. Well, at least get to go do something cool.
Yeah, should be fun.
Nice. Ben, how about you?
I already said what I want. You need to go to someone else.
Oh, sorry, Dennis. I'm just testing you.
That's right.
You only get one.
Well, trying to see the Northern Lights aside, I had my freaking basement flood this week.
Oh, no.
That was
That's
no
not
fun.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
did it get into the finished part?
Yes, that specifically. Weirdly, the unfinished part, bone dry.
Huh.
Is
Fuck
Slay the
that
Spire okay?
Slay the Spire is okay. We've got it up on a table. That
right.
part was fine. Although it was funny, and I'm running up and down stairs like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to fix stuff, and I forget which of them, but one of my kids is like, "What's going on?" I was like, "The basement flooded," and they go, how many feet? Is everything underwater? Like, your concept of what's happening downstairs is way, way cooler than it actually is.
Did it come up through like a floor drain, or was it just kind of coming in from the foundation?
Did you delve too deeply and too greedily?
That's the weird thing, is I can't figure it out.
Okay.
My guess is there is a drain that's like floored over, and I thought sealed, that maybe it came up through, but it doesn't quite match up to where the water was actually sitting. Nowhere on the walls, and usually if we have a leak, it's like, you can see on the wall where stuff was coming through. The walls are pristine. Walls are great. And in fact, around the walls are dry. It was like this puddle in the middle.
Just up the center. Yeah.
It was like an ice creature melted to hide from me when I walked downstairs.
I mean, I am continuing to support. We are having a running theme of Lovecraftian horrors are invading the world.
It was just a puddle and nothing else. Are you sure somebody didn't murder a snowman with an icicle?
That's probably what
Perfect
happened. Then the question was, how did they get a snowman down here? My PC usually just sits on the ground, but thankfully the little nubs that it's on were high enough.
Okay.
To keep that
that's
fine.
one of my huge pet peeves with Macs. Is for some idiotic reason they put their water intakes on the bottom of the computer.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, I've literally destroyed a MacBook once by just knocking over a glass of water and like the pool spreading under the Mac.
Oh, you mean
Air
the air intakes? Okay.
Yeah.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
they're water
Water
intakes
intakes.
in that case.
Oh, did I say water intakes?
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
air intakes.
And I was thinking,
Anytime a computer has a water intake, that's usually a bad sign.
I'm
trying to
sorry.
think, is there a water cooled Mac?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is the problem is they became water intakes.
So what was the damage? Like, was anything, like terrible, or is can stuff just be, fumigated?
No, it ultimately wasn't that bad. I mean, we went through every towel in the house, sopping stuff up. But like I said, the computer was fine. And a couple like paper things were destroyed, but it was nothing important.
Yeah.
But that meant that my PC is now up on my desk next to my monitor.
Yeah.
And
As it should be.
Yes, but I can see all the wires. There's so many wires.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
There are solutions for this. You can get a CPU roller. Like a little dolly to put it on, which might be even better for accessibility on it.
Yeah.
Or there's
That's
there's like little sidecars, like the new desk that I got for my office. There was an option to get like a little sidecar shelf that just kind of goes off of one of the legs, and the CPU just sits on that.
Yeah, I mean, I will definitely be finding something like that. Since I have no idea how it flooded the first time, there's nothing to say it won't a second.
Is there something in like a basement Beetlejuice that you can call to like exercise whatever water ghost is down there?
The basement whisperers.
I mean, what I mean is a plumber, but I wanted to say it funny. Like, who do you call to say like, so what's going on here? It would be weird if it was a sealed over pipe.
I feel like what you need is a water undowser.
Come on,
because I know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, so the final part of the story is because the PC is up on my desk, and like the layout that I have is my desk is behind the couch, so that I can kind of like see the room and the TV and everything.
Yeah.
But that also means that when my toddler is sitting on the couch and watching TV,
Attractive nuisance. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and check this out. The button, I can just hit this button and shut down your PC.
Yeah.
In the middle of whatever I was doing, and he got way too much joy out of that. So yes, I will be finding some dolly that gets it away from the floor, but also away from the toddler.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's those are really readily available. You can get those, and it'll be fine. Just make sure your tower measures out for it, so it's not going to be like teetering on it. Yeah,
and apparently need to make it ghost proof as well. For
at least water ghost
down
proof.
here. Water ghost proof. Yes.
Snowman ghost proof.
What's strong versus water type ghost? Water and ghost type. Ooh,
lightning. Yeah.
Electrical,
Lightning?
yeah.
Will that do it versus both of them?
Some kind of lightning psychic, I think, is what you need.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And
At
we've
least.
established that computer's weakness is water if they have water intakes. So
Yes. Huh.
Yeah, okay. We got to figure this out here.
Huh.
Let's see. Yeah, so if we need it strong versus a water and ghost type. There's water. Here's
Cole, how have you been doing?
I've been doing okay. While
I'm
Dennis
busy
is
here
doing
for
the
a bit.
math there, yeah, you were talking while you were doing it, which made me think that there was going to be something funny in the process of finding it. No, in the process of finding it, what eventually comes through will be edifying. But so for me, not a whole lot going on. I've just been playing around with making this is work, but it's also me learning a new toy. I've been toying around with making audiograms for our shows to promote them. An audiogram is a little video that you post that is like your show art and like a caption of, and so it's like a little minute and a half long clip that has a little waveform, your album, your show art, and like a captioning for what's being said, so that people scrolling on social media will see what's being said and think, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, this episode's good. Oh, that's premium. Okay, maybe we'll I have no idea how effective they're going to be. I think they're fun. It's fun picking out little bits to highlight. It's like I don't know if it's because I'm the person who's doing it that I feel like it's ethical, but I'm using an AI tool for this, which is just like, okay, looking at this transcript, because Squadcast provides transcripts for us, and there's a little built-in tool for like, you can just ask like, give me 10 minute and a half long clips, like good clips from this, and it will spit back like a bunch of options. And then you just, preview them and see, and then you apply the template and you go. So I've had a lot of fun like designing the templates and picking the colors and all of that. And I don't know, people are going to have to know if they like them. I'm just having fun making a new thing.
Hell yeah.
This sounds akin to like YouTube Shorts or something like that as a way for advertising.
Yes, yeah. I think eventually they're going to go on. I'm gonna try and set up YouTube Shorts for it. But yeah, I'll put one in the chat, not to listen to now, but I'll put this. It'll be one from last week's The Level. I used it to promote that. Oh wow! And I'm just now seeing your Aurora Borealis pictures, Ben, localized entirely within our Slack channel. Yeah.
Can I see it?
So yeah, that's really my that's my whole thing. We've got to talk about games and stuff, and to do that, we need to do a regular kind of show. Hey Dennis,
Yes.
what is good against a water and ghost type?
There is no overlap. So for water, you need a grass or electric type, and for ghost, you need another ghost or a dark type. So I'm now searching to see what Pokemon I have one of each of those.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What if we use like a phasmophobia table instead?
Maybe.
Let's say it's like a
Not
candle.
counting evolutions, there are 15 Pokemon that are strong against both water and ghosts.
Okay, so they probably have like one or the other, or yeah.
Yeah, they're either dark or ghost with a secondary or primary that's electric or grass.
Gotcha.
Damn,
I don't know why we all like committed to that degree.
Because I will decorate this dolly in the style of whatever Pokemon we land on. That's the 500 special right there. There, we've got it.
Yeah, there we go. We did it. Yeah.
We'll find those Pokemon, put it up in a poll, whatever Pokemon the community chooses. I will make my stand themed after that.
Okay, there we go. And don't share pictures just to tease them. Yeah. What with the grind, the multiplayer, and the emboss, and why don't we get started with
The grind.
The Grind, where we talk about games we've been playing over the past period of time or so. It's a special occasion. I'm going to lead this one. I played something new although it is something Jala has talked about before, at least in demo form. Over the weekend, I streamed, I think maybe like the first half-ish of Crow Country, a new survival horror game that came out I believe last Friday.
All right.
Yeah. I like this game an awful lot. Moxie, you were there in the you were there watching. So if there's anything you wanna throw in with, feel free.
Yeah.
But this is another in the throwback to a PlayStation 1 survival horror kind of game. You know, just kind of been the dominant mode of indie horror games for the past 5 years or so. Something that is very impressive about it to me, though, is that it is the best that I have seen about having a very large puzzle box space. And by puzzle box space, I mean, if anybody has played the first 2 Resident Evils, you know, thinking the Spencer Mansion or the Raccoon City Police Department. Because those are very large levels where puzzles and keys and pickups kind of span the entire thing. And you are kind of pressing at the edges of what is explorable. And sometimes you will forget where this thing could have gone, and then you'll kind of rediscover it. You'll go back through areas.
Where by this thing, I mean Mr. X. I forget where he could have gone.
Yes. Yeah. You'll like, oh, this is a weird metal. Where can I use that? Oh yeah, there was this whole thing over there as you're like exploring back around. And this is just a big complex space that gets smaller and simpler the more you explore it. That is something that happens in small doses with some of them. I think Signalis was kind of the closest, but even that was a series of smaller kind of puzzle box things, puzzle box levels, in sequence, right? It wasn't a game spanning kind of deal like the Spencer Mansion was. And this kind of nails it. The premise on this is that you are a young woman who quote is or claims to be a special investigator tracking down a missing person. This guy named Edward Crow, the owner and proprietor of an amusement park called Crow Country that shut down in 1988, 2 years prior. This takes place in 1990. Shut down because of some kind of tragedy that happened there. So a kid got attacked and got sick. And you are going to the park to look for this guy, and there are monsters and beasties and all kinds of, puzzles and doors that are weirdly locked across the different kind of lands within the amusement park. Like there's a fairy tale land, there's like a spooky land, that's like got a haunted house and like a little crypt in it. And there's the one I most recently found was like an underwater underwater kingdom kind of theme. Yeah, this is played. The graphics and the presentation appear to be very similar to not like any survival horror that I have seen. It is evocative of a particular era. Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, it kind of looks like a Lego form of like Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
I was going to say the original Final Fantasy VII. That's like the overworld sprites.
That's really close to it, actually. Yeah, it's especially in proportion, right? And also just the way that everything is kind of composed of, spheres or like round blobby kind of shapes. There is a game that this looks like, but nobody has played it. It was like an Amiga game called Ecstatica, which is one of the first games that had like character models that were made out of voxels. Like everything was made out of like little voxel spheres, and this is on a game that came out in like 1993. It's a weird and effective look. I do not know if they are specifically going for it, but yeah, it looks cartoony, and in that style, the monsters are really cool and evocative. This is also like one of the few games that has a pixel shader on it. Taking these crude 3D models and making them look like they're rendered in low poly, not low poly, like low resolution kind of chunky pixels. That is not objectionable to my eyes. Oftentimes when you play a game that has a pixel shader like this, there's something about the way that it's handling things that makes everything kind of swimmy, and actually it makes me just a little bit like queasy looking at it. Here, it's actually coherent in its appearance, which is good. There's granular aiming to it, so you're moving around like it's a Silent Hill game, something like that. You've got your analog stick, moving your character in the direction you're going. You can also use the D-pad to do tank controls if that is your if that is your speed. And when you go to aim, it's a little bit like Resident Evil 4. The character will hold out the gun, and then you see like the laser and a little reticle for where it's going to, for where they're going to shoot. This is a good system. It is a little hard sometimes to aim at something especially small or in motion, but the system that is there for this is not. I don't know. It makes sense. I was going to say it wasn't like anything I had seen. It is not like something I had seen in a game of this fidelity, aiming for that PlayStation style, which is you can target different body parts. However, you're going to do way more damage the closer this thing is, the closer the enemy is. So it's like a little bit of a...
You have a very low powder load in your gun.
Yes. It's only going to go like 10 feet. With any kind of so it is a nice little interesting game of chicken with a mechanical trade-off, which is this is a survival horror game where resources are limited. Put a pin in that. Resources are limited, and that's ammo and then health. If you fire from more safety, further away, you're going to use more ammo, notwithstanding, the fact that it might be harder to aim at them, like you might miss. But if you risk having them get real close to you, you lose less ammo, but you're risking taking damage and, running low on health pickups, running low on first aid kits and stuff.
What exactly are the enemies? It looks like a cross between like robots in some cases and zombies in others.
They're general Silent Hill flesh atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
It's strongly implied that these are guests to the park who have been mutated in some form or fashion. Some of them profoundly, some of them into being, they're still like broadly humanoid.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I said like put a pin in the resource scarcity, this does something that I think is really smart for a game that is trying to evoke that old school, old style resource scarcity survival horror kind of vibe, which is that you have pickups that you're going to find just out in the world by breaking crates or bottles or stuff like that. There are also trash cans. And depending on what you need most at the time you search, it'll probably give you that. However, if you search when you need nothing, then you'll get trash and that container is spent.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
That's really good.
Yeah. I don't know.
So is it obvious when you need nothing?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty clear, right? Like if there's no particular type of ammo that you're out of, if you're not, down to your last health kit or with no health kits, if you, have antidotes for the poison effect, just basically like, okay, do I absolutely need to take the risk on what I'm going to get here on the possibility that I'll burn this when I might need it in the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like a good idea to like disincentivize like going around and trying to collect everything all the time. So
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's something you need in a game like this. I think it's one of the reasons why people don't do the big puzzle box base that you're in for the whole game, is because, like, if you are super greedy at the start, you might not pace out your resources as you're spending them. Sometimes that is, taken care of in a systemic way. Something like Resident Evil 4, like that has static pickups but also it has enemy drops based on what you need, you know? This doesn't quite have that. This feels like a good compromise insofar
Can't
as
you-
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, can't you also go back to your car and get ammo whenever you want?
Yes, it's inconvenient, but if you are completely out of handgun ammo, you can go all the way back to the entrance of the park and get a clip out of your trunk. Yes. Yeah.
How often have you used that?
None. No.
Okay.
I haven't.
Never quite pushed you there.
Is there anything like a vendor in the game or any like sort of upgrade system or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
You do find better weapons, like, you know, it seems to be following the standard progression. Like I got a pistol and then found a shotgun. And
Rifle incoming.
Maybe a rifle. I found some fuel, so like maybe there will be a flamethrower of some kind, possibly. Maybe a blowtorch. Got no idea.
I mean, I'm hoping for a Segway.
just to run over shit.
Yep.
Blart style.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
does shooting the various locations, like, does it do some degree of Resident Evil 4 where, like, can you stagger enemies then melee them, or, you know, anything like that, or is it always just go for the eyes, boo?
There's no there's no melee for this. I've not tried shooting for the legs because shooting for the head seems to very broadly work. And by that I mean specifically, if you hit them in the head, if you do enough damage to the head will fall off, and then the next body shot will put them down. They will still
sense.
walk toward you without their head though, just slower.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I want to see someone do a challenge run where it's just all decapitations, no kills.
Call it mercy mode. Yeah.
Is that the more merciful option though? Discuss.
I've got no idea. These things don't seem to be having a great time alive. Something that is just true about me, I have found. If there is a game where there are bear traps, I'm going to walk into them. No matter how
Really?
no matter how brightly lit it is. They're super obvious when they're on the ground. You can steer around them. You can lure enemies into them if you want to. I will walk straight into it. And this doesn't just have bear traps, it also has chandeliers that'll fall down, which my eye does not recognize as a threat until I see it start moving, and by then it's too late.
Wait,
that's
so
a
is
fancy
this
bear
like
trap?
every chandelier is a trap?
Yes, every chandelier is a trap, and sometimes chandeliers will show up where chandeliers were not before. And then my dumb ass does not recognize that, hey, maybe that chandelier that wasn't there before might be a problem for me.
I mean, I love the fact that this implies, like, malevolent stealth carpenters.
Very specifically, a la House of Leaves in that case, that was the first thing that the Davidsons came to, was like, oh, did a carpenter pull a prank by breaking into our house to put this little doorway in? Maybe. Yeah.
You know, as you do.
Yeah. I mean, as a carpenter would, if I had those powers, I couldn't be trusted.
Oh my god, I just realized what happened in our basement.
I was waiting
You found
for it.
a portal to Yggdrasil, except water?
Oh.
Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil, I think. Yeah. Did you say, what'd you say?
I then said Glugdrasil.
Glugdrasil, and I like an asshole correcting your pronunciation because you phrase that like a question. Puzzles are good. Generally, find the thing and then remember where to use it. There's a little bit of minor deduction kind of stuff you have to do, but broadly, yeah. I dig this a lot. This is, I mean, obviously, the usual caveat on anything I've finished, anything I haven't finished, rather, might shit the bed, but right now it has earned my trust to say, like, this is probably going to be worth your time if you have any affection for that particular era of survival horror games.
Have you ever had something, like, just massively do a bad left turn, like I know, just be like, oh no, the real villain was the Jews or something.
No, I haven't seen that. It's not like there aren't games out there that do that. Usually when something shits the bed, it's because of a super frustrating or weirdly or badly designed final boss.
Oh yeah, I remember that from that really cool Japanese ghost game that then had like the completely bogus shadow puzzle or whatever.
Second Fatal Frame reference in an episode. I believe you're referring to Fatal Frame 2 when I tried to stream that. Moxie.
Yep.
It's good. I like it. The hype seems to be deserved. And it came out on a day when a shitload of really good indie games came out, which is weird.
Any other suggestions? I'm not as plugged into that.
There's one that I have to talk about.
Ben, alley-oop!
Yeah. I played Animal Well this weekend.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds really good.
Yeah. This is like a Metroidvania single dev promoted by Video Game Donkey video game.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You play a little meatball, but instead of it being like kind of like different like gadgets and like Metroidvania type stuff or Metroid stuff, it's you get like 90s memorabilia are your upgrades.
Okay.
So like
slap bracelets,
a yo-yo, a frisbee, those types of things. Yeah, so I beat the main game over the weekend, and then kind of started peeking behind the curtain and seeing like what sort of other features that they had, because you kind of get the intuition that there's a lot of game beyond just the main branch, and throughout the game there's like collectible Easter eggs that are pretty common to find. And I think by the end of the game I had like maybe like 22 or 26. Mm-hmm. And so I looked up to see how many there were in the game, and there's 64, and I was like, oh my. So there's definitely there's a lot behind the scenes if you want to like keep digging into it. And there's even more like kind of hidden like collectibles and stuff like that. So if you're into that type of thing, that could totally be a game for you. The base game is pretty solid. It is kind of chock filled with puzzles. It's somewhat akin to like the Super Mario Brother, like the original NES, like Super Mario Brother games in terms of like how you're like the type of enemies you face and like how you navigate the environment and the type of like traversal you do. Like I guess one notable exception is one game or one item you get in this is called like a bubble gun, and you shoot a single bubble out of it, and you can also jump on that as it slowly floats up. And that opens up the door for this interesting mechanic where you bubble jump, where you shoot a bubble out forward and then jump at the same time and land on the one that you just shot. Because as you shoot it out, the one that you're standing on will pop. Because you have like a limit of one bubble per gun, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's like that's a bubble bobble thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, perhaps there's a standing for this.
Wow, this is when we need Jala.
Very much so.
Yeah, so, but anyway, in the puzzles that you're solving, it is a very animal-themed game, and it is a biome-themed game, where from the start, you can kind of go in whatever direction you choose, and you'll probably run into walls that you may or may not complete, depending upon what you've unlocked to that point. But there's like things like a lizard biome, a dog biome, I guess other biomes that I may or may not spoil later in this description.
Yeah.
But like a simple example of like one of the things you unlock early on, and like one of the ways you get around a puzzle is like dogs will chase you, and you're a little meatball, so they'll bite you and toss you around, and it'll like take one of your health away, and you have like 4 health bar. Early on, you unlock a frisbee, and so if you throw the frisbee, the dog will chase after the frisbee instead of chasing after you. Like, all right, awesome. But the mechanic's a little bit deeper than that. If you throw it against the wall, it'll come back towards you. If it hits you, you catch it, and it's gone, but you can throw it again. And you can jump on the frisbee itself, and then you're just riding on the frisbee, and you're like spinning around and traveling with it. And if it basically if it's like if you have two walls like in the same map that you're on, it'll just bounce between them indefinitely. But otherwise, it'll travel between the levels. So like if you're riding it, like you can ride it across like several maps if you want, and that's a way to possibly solve puzzles. But just like for example, bouncing it between maps and say there's like a dog presence, you can use that to like infinitely distract them so that they don't bother you at all. Anyway, the mechanics like get deeper than that. Some of them, sometimes there's good integration across the items where they can kind of interact in cool ways. A lot of times it's just figuring out the right tool that you have for the job and then figuring out how to solve the puzzle that way. But overall, the puzzle design is like pretty solid, especially for it being a single developer game. I think that, given the context of that, this game is like a pretty strong entry. It's, I think it's $25 on, I got it on Switch, but I think you can get it on Steam as well. Probably other markets as well. Which is usually a little bit higher for me than what I would like to pay for an indie game, but I think this is pretty worth the price if you're into puzzle games, if you're into that kind of retro aesthetic. And it is nice that this kind of has like an original like skin on it, and the fact that it is completely animal themed for whatever reason. That's like the skin that it chose for the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of comes out in fun ways though, where the mechanics of the animals will kind of shape what the puzzle space is like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm happy to hear you talk about this because it is a game that people speak about in that frustrating combination of they speak about glowingly, but also don't say anything at all because they believe saying anything about it will ruin things for people.
For other people?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Maybe I disagree with that, I guess. I don't know. It's like, because you can say it's a Metroidvania, and I think people understand kind of the shape of the game from that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can look at the Steam page, right? But if somebody is going to say, "Hey, this thing is really good and worth your attention," I think it at least bears a brief summation of what it actually is.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know. It's like there's definitely things that you could spoil in the game if that I will not say. You know, like so there. I mean, yeah, there are definitely things that you would not want to tell somebody if you're recommending the game. But I don't find it particularly hard to avoid talking about those things.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
It might just be the particular people that I saw talking about it. You know, it's just
I had definitely heard that.
Yeah.
And I think so. Once I beat the main game proper, that's kind of when I lifted the embargo for me, and I went in and like looked at like what are the collectibles and what can you do, and like how much more is there to the game. And I was fine at that point to kind of see what there was, because it's a decently long haul to try and 100% the game from just where you're at with the main game. And it's not necessarily like maybe a difference between like this and The Witness is it feels much more like fetchy, and you kind of have to spend a lot of time like traversing around to complete the game if you want to try and do 100%, as opposed to everything kind of being very densely packed together. So I don't know, but that could just be a personal preference. Yeah.
It sounds great. I really like those descriptions of the ways that your different verbs, right? The things that you're actually able to do, change navigation and work into, puzzles. Yeah, I don't know. That is roughly where I want a Metroidvania kind of thing to be. So
yeah, he did a very good job of thinking through the power-ups that you get and having them kind of be have multiple uses in different contexts. So and then deciding for the aesthetic of it to be like kind of 90s memorabilia is like, I don't know, just kind of like a fun twist to it, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it can be anything, if you're a little meatball, why not make it that?
Sure.
And just like, I don't know, the stuff that you're finding, your actual weapons or tools or whatever, it sounds like they behave like the thing does. So
I will say one mild criticism is there's some items you pick up and you don't know what they do and they are not explained to you. So I'll just give a example is like you pick up a stamp and you're like, okay, Maybe there will be somewhere that I can stamp something in this game. But really what it does is it unlocks the ability for you to put icons down on the map if you're going through the map.
Okay.
But, so that's cool that that's there, but it's kind of not exactly well communicated to the player. But that's a very mild criticism in the context of the game, though.
Right.
So, anyway, yes.
Sounds rad. It's a game that I would like to play.
Yeah. I mean, it was good enough for me. I beat it over the weekend, so it definitely had my attention. So
Yeah. Trying to think. That did.
Oh.
No, that came out earlier in the month. That wasn't one of the ones that came out on Friday.
I will say one mild warning with it as well is there are some moments in the game that are more twitchy where you have to it requires like reflexes and stuff like that. And so just be warned of that, I guess, where it's not like there's sometimes challenges like that where you have to pass something like that.
Gotcha.
And so if you have a low tolerance for that, that might be like a barrier for you in this game. But yeah.
Okay. Nice. Did you have anything else?
That's all I got.
Cool. Let's see. Who else has something new?
I have something kind of new, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But not enough time in it to really speak on it. Literally today, as we're recording this, the 4th season of Diablo IV has come out.
Okay.
And it is titled Loot Reborn, which is like a weird, meta fourth wall breaking title for a season. But it does actually speak to major changes they're making in the game. So they are completely overhauling the loot system, which, that is Diablo 4. They're basically, remaking the most central part of the game, and altering it in fundamental ways that, they've had a player test region up for a while. So, but we can say with confidence, this is a objectively good thing for the game. Basically, the affixes, so the stats that the loot have, are getting less numerous and less niche. So fewer stats that do have a bigger impact.
Okay.
Is kind of the theory behind this. They also basically have overhauled the crafting system in a way that is much more friendly to players. So it used to be that you had to find, a legendary power on a weapon, and then you could break down that weapon to take the legendary power and stamp it into another weapon. And that's how you kind of modified towards exactly what you wanted. However, once you did that, you could not stamp it again. Like the weapon had been modified, the transfer had been made, and that was a one-time transfer. Well, now when you find a legendary affix, it goes into like a codex that you can then pull that out as many times as you want. And that's a massive quality of life improvement, because you don't need to go find that max rolled, exact perfect legendary affix multiple times as you go through multiple weapons. You can just find it once and you're set.
Are you saying you can triple stamp a double stamp now?
You can triple stamp a double stamp now.
Oh my
god. So I've put maybe 10 minutes into the season so far. But just knowing the changes that are coming, I'm very excited. And appreciate them like doing this level of rework to a game that was in a healthy place. I think that's the crazy thing, is like the hordes were not out for Diablo 4. The pitchforks were not out. People were happy with it. In fact, I think that their 3rd season kind of got praise for being a good experience. And it's interesting that they took that moment to do this major overhaul rather than just trying to coast on success. So a rare kudos thrown Blizzard's way, or at least the Diablo 4 team of Blizzard.
Man,
Our one for the year.
Yeah.
It is crazy to me the degree to which this season system just completely killed my desire to play Diablo 4.
Well, that's interesting. There are definitely season systems that are a grind. Like I cannot keep up with Fortnite, because like you just need to be playing it all the time to get your worth out of each season. However, Diablo, is has been very good about like it is easy to see all the new content in a reasonable amount of time, and they've explicitly said like we want you to finish a season and then go play something else, have fun, and then come back excited when the next season hits. We don't want you feeling like you've got to grind out every single day, which is cool.
To me, Diablo is about the loot, so taking that away, just like, why would you even play the game?
How do you mean taking the loot away?
Well, because at the end of each season, everything starts over from zero, so you effectively get nothing.
Well, yeah, every character does get booted over into the Eternal Realm,
Right,
which
but I
you
mean,
can go and
that's
play.
just the training wheels realm.
Basically, yeah, it's it's
like
there if you want it, but you want to see the new fun stuff.
Yeah. To me, this is just like, man, I can't believe. I don't know. To me, this is like, if you designed a game to have me never play it, this would be what you would design.
I won't send you an invite then when I see you online.
Yeah. Well, do the seasons add story content at least? Like, are they canon?
Yes, but it's all very self-contained.
Okay,
I think
that's
they're
the other
reserving.
thing is like, I know those are the two things I care about in Diablo: is the story and the loot.
Yeah, I think they're reserving big story beats for expansions, which I think they're still planning on doing on top of the seasonal stuff. So we'll see. But like I said, that's about as much as I can say on a game that I have not spent much actual time in.
Reasonable.
But expect to hear that more on it in the future.
Cool. What else?
Yeah, really, that was burying the lead. My big one is not new, but it is momentous. Guys, I have finally beaten XCOM 2 on Legend Iron Man difficulty.
You're free.
Woo! This is another 500 special. I kind of thought I might evaporate into the ether, but I did it. It happened. I'm not crying. You're crying. It was glorious. And man, something that you kind of forget as you're kind of doing this runs approach where I'm grinding through the early parts of the game quite frequently, and then I've only actually seen the final mission of XCOM 2 3 times now. That's it. And I've played hundreds and hundreds of regular missions, and you kind of get a feel for the maps, even though they're randomly generated for the most part, and the flow of the game, and just I'm so intimately familiar with every piece of this game except for the final missions. And so it really was that feeling of just I don't know, it was new and fresh, and it's I haven't been in these hallowed halls many times. I better do it justice. Yeah, and the game managed to make the final mission very exciting. The format, and it's old, so you don't feel like this is too much of a spoiler, but the format in the kind of the final encounter is there's just massive amounts of enemies spawning in every turn through these gates. And I think every other wave of them for the first 3 or first 6 times. So first 6 turns, every other turn, an avatar spawns in, which is a hyper powerful enemy. You only really see a couple of them leading up to this. But you need to defeat those 3. And it gets to the point where, you get down to the last one, but he was tucked away all the way on the opposite side of the map.
Oh boy.
And of course there's just a horde of high level enemies between me and them. And so getting across by the skin of my teeth, balancing the all right, I know the mission ends once I kill this last person. When do I just YOLO for that avatar?
How many are coming home?
Exactly. Versus if I just straight up run for them, I know I'm going to get overwhelmed before I get there. But if I derp around trying to control these other waves of enemies too much, it's just, it's not tenable. I'm going to get overrun. And that, that tension is so finely tuned in that final mission. It came down to I think I had 1 or 2 soldiers left to go. And
Is there a way to rebuild if you like your team gets wiped in that mission, or are you done for?
No, once you open up that mission, it's actually the 2 missions, kind of a combo to end the game. Once you start that, there is nothing else you can do. So, and story wise, it makes sense as well. This is like the entire game you've been building towards, reverse engineering these portals that the aliens are coming through to try to get to their turf. And that's you finally kind of find this one-time way through. And if
And
you blow
couldn't
that,
just send a bomb.
oh, that would be nice. Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, except that it would be less fun to play.
Wouldn't really be a game at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is credits on XCOM 2. That is, I mean, I've been playing it since it came out in 2016. So almost a decade.
So now, what is it? Iron Man, Legendary, Original, Long War of XCOM Chimera Squad.
Oh man, I like to imagine that a Chimera Squad was just a bad trip. Actually, it wasn't even a bad trip. It was just a very interesting,
positive things about it.
Yeah.
Very interesting trip, but very different. I'll talk all day about Chimera Squad, and God, I want more interesting experiments that sort of, but don't quite all the way work.
The
That's
one
good.
I have a chip on my shoulder is the fans killing. What was the shooter they made?
Oh, the Bureau.
Yeah, just the fans throwing a temper tantrum about that.
Yeah, I think it's going to have the Phantom Menace arc where people come back around and they're like, oh, well, now that we've got enough distance from it, maybe there were some things to like.
So it sounds like you're still in the euphoric phase of beating this, and you haven't found your next challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
After
always
500
ways
episodes,
to
you guys know me too
Project
well.
Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go straight into Long War, the mod that makes everything longer and harder. Insert your joke here. And I don't know what I'm going to next. Maybe Diablo IV Hardcore will fill that. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Wasn't there a thing where like the guy who developed the new XComs or something said like, yeah, I'm done with turn-based strategy or something?
Yeah, Jake Solomon, maybe? I forget exactly who it is.
Sounds about right.
But he is working on a Sims-esque game. Like, he's on the record of saying like, I've done turn-based. I'm really intrigued by doing a dating simulator that's got Sim vibes.
Huh. That's kind of the direction they were going with Midnight Suns a little bit.
Right, yeah. And he's like, I spent so much time on that, the social aspect of it. Like, that's what I really cared about. That's why I want to go do like that all out. I'll try it just because it's him. That said, I haven't played Midnight Suns yet, so maybe that's my next step.
I mean,
Yeah, you should
ironically enough, the romance stuff is 90% of what I've heard about Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what folks tend to linger on.
It's a good game. It has a nice, like, addicting loop to it. It's probably, I don't think it's as punishing as XCOM, though.
Not interested then. No. I will not allow myself to advance until I've explored every dialogue option. And
You're the first person that I know who has, like, a BDSM kink with their video games.
Yeah, and I'm the
Yeah.
person who kind of made a living playing Souls games. So
right, yeah. It's a trend for this podcast. But yeah, so I so happy to have finally seen that through. It's not often you have a goal that you work on for 8 years. That's kind of cool.
yeah, long war, long game,
Yeah.
long con.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know.
Con remains to be seen.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see.
I
How is there
was
not an XCOM con?
I mean, if we didn't already kind of shit on Chimera Squad, which that game looks really cool to me.
Yeah, that's actually like what I want from XCOM.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It is interesting, and I'm happy for the time I spent with it. Let's say that.
Cool. Did you have anything else?
No, those are my two.
All right, Moxie, round us out.
Man, I do not have all that much. I've been continuing on with XCOM. Their free battle pass ends tonight, and so I was kind of power leveling that. However, I got the items I wanted. However, somewhat frustratingly, literally the very last unlock or whatever I can't get because their battle pass is challenge based, and all of the challenges I have left are for content I haven't unlocked in the story yet.
You're talking about Warframe too, by the
yes.
way, right?
Yes, did I say XCOM?
Okay. You did.
Yeah, I was going to say Battle Pass kind of tipped me off. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
This is to Moxie what XCOM is to me.
Yes, exactly. It has been a week. So yeah, just been kind of grinding on that. I unlocked a new Warframe that is it's Titania, which is kind of a moth themed Warframe. So really cute design, and you can just turn into a tiny moth with submachine guns and like fly around shooting everything.
Oh,
Okay.
Which highlights one of my favorite things about Warframe, which is they are not afraid to just blatantly let you break the game, because literally with this Warframe you can fly whenever you want. So like any platforming portions of the game, you can just decide you don't feel like doing them.
Okay.
But other than that, I did another one of the story missions. This time around, actually pulled in I think I mentioned last time, they introduced a character that was kind of more of a traditional military feel. And one of the new story missions features that character. And the big real new mechanic in it is that as you're going around, you're rescuing other clone troopers. Okay. And you basically get end up with like an army a small squadron following you around, and you can like give them orders to like go attack a point or guard a point or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the interesting thing is it kind of ends with a mode where you set up a base camp to kind of rebuild and free more of your brothers, and this basically gives you a daily challenge mode, or kind of almost like a challenge mode in like a Slay the Spire or something. Except the interesting thing is it's stealth oriented.
Okay.
Which is, in my opinion, kind of a cool decision, because stealth has always been a part of Warframe. There are several frames that revolve entirely around stealth. It has a pretty well set up system for that. Mm-hmm. But the game is, a lot of the game basically boils down to being a horde shooter. So to a significant degree, once you get, to more the late game, just stealth is no longer really an efficient way to play the game.
Right.
And so I think this is kind of a clever way to bring that back.
When you say stealth, are you talking about evading detection altogether in order to get to your goal and get out? Or is this more like a Batman style, you are looking for the fight is always going to start, but you are trying to get it to start in the best possible terms for you.
I'd say somewhere in between. You can very much, go. I would say it very much is not like the combat is inevitable. You're just setting up the starting scenario. However, it is very much a thing where if things start to go bad, depending on the situation, it's often viable for you to just go loud and like wipe out everyone in a room. Mm-hmm. And as long as no one gets to the alarm button, you're good. Mm-hmm. So it's a thing where I would say it's not like a Metal Gear Solid type thing, or like a I don't know. I don't play stealth games. It's not a whatever.
Far Cry is what you're bringing to mind with that description.
Yeah. It's kind of more of a Far Cry type of thing. You do have like stealth takedowns and things like that, and this mode actually introduces some ability to like take advantage of like environmental traps, which is kind of cool. But yeah, no, it's fun. The character is very likable. It's kind of funny because their whole thing is he's a clone trooper that speaks entirely in like caveman speech.
Okay.
And they sort of buddy cop pair him up with a character that's basically a like super intelligent alien researcher.
Okay.
Which again, this being Warframe, like all of this makes sense, believe me.
I'll choose to believe you for now.
But yeah, so it's kind of a fun odd couple thing where it's the two very different approaches to solving the problems. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've gotten done. The next story mission I have is another one where it does a warning beforehand saying like, hey, like, you need to be sure you're ready to start this mission because, there's going to be a lot of like decisions you can't go back from that you'll have to make, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I'm getting that set up.
Yeah. Nice. I don't know that I have any other questions about that. You played anything else?
No, that's it. I'm on the hunt for my next, indie game or something like that, but I've not found it yet.
How are we 0-4 on Hades 2?
I really want to play it, but I'm not sure I want to play it before the story is done.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
I'm
Maybe
told that
sense.
it does not have DUSA, and I grade on a pass-fail, DUSA scale.
I want to wait until it's done. Like, everybody else can hop in there in early access. It's just that is a policy that has served me pretty well so far. So, yeah, I can be patient.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer. Dennis, what did you ask the nice people?
Yeah, we got a little sibling rivalry inspired post. So you get to choose one video game character as an older sibling while growing up. So yes, you'll be close, so you might be able to ask them for help with stuff, but you're also going to be picked on by them and constantly compared to them. So, who are you choosing?
Okay. Let's see. Callum writes, Lara Croft. By the time sibling bullying would have happened, she would already be overseas doing the tomb raiding. I imagine parents would be happy with one of us not having a death wish, and also the family mansion would be nice.
Wait, are her parents dead, though?
I think...
Dead or alive, you get that mansion.
You do get the mansion.
It feels like a dead parent scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
It really does. I think it might be literally a Batman thing, like in the first game, maybe the second
Joker
game.
killed Laura Croft's parents.
Yeah, no, like she has a butler who like handles stuff for her, like Alfred. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really read in on Tomb Raider lore, honestly.
Oh, I'm reading it right now. It's fascinating.
Huh. Let's see, Ben. What does Peter say?
Peter says, my first instinct was to say Jaster Rogue from Rogue Galaxy because going on adventures with him would be neat. But being the Star King's little brother kind of makes it sound like being the forgotten brother of an almighty being. Sorry, spoilers from like an almost 20-year-old game. So I'd probably pick Sora from Kingdom Hearts, just because being compared to the lovable dork that saves the world sounds great. Plus, trying sea salt ice cream sounds yummy. Though I'd probably be pretty bummed when he disappears when he's 12, and I don't know where he went. So maybe the best answer is Yu Narukami. He makes a solid adoptive brother to Nanako Dojima throughout the course of Persona 4. Also challenging the Mega Beef Bowl with a sibling sounds like an excellent recipe for disaster. Typing these out makes me realize this question shows how much of an only child I am, and that I don't really understand what sibling relationship is supposed to be like.
Oh my yes.
Not to dunk on you, but the assumption that the comparison is to be like, oh, you're just like so and so.
Yeah.
Versus like so and so's done XYZ. Why haven't you?
Yeah. Why can't you be more like? Yeah.
So Peter, there are some benefits to being an only child.
I feel like you could subvert that though. Just choose someone that like no one would ever be like. Why can't you be more like?
No.
I didn't say it had to be a video game protagonist.
Let's see. That was Moxie. What does Casey say?
Casey says trombone.
Trombone.
From Mega Man Legends. I feel like that's the proper amount of bullying and support. Also, other reasons.
Casey.
I didn't say step sibling.
All right, we're gonna put you in timeout, Casey. All right. Tron Bonne would be really mean. She's also real secure and has access to really dangerous robots. I don't know.
It's good.
I did. I'm gonna raise my eyebrow at this one, but yeah. And then Dennis, round us out with what Random Sum says.
Yeah, Randomson says Johnny from Chrono Trigger. With him, you get a bro and a rad 3-wheeler.
Yeah.
Was that the frog?
No, Johnny is the motorcycle racer guy in the future, I believe.
Sounds like he's a 3-wheeler racer guy.
It's some kind of bike.
A try guy.
Yeah.
Try guy?
I think those guys were canceled.
Whoa, yeah. If I was going to go, well, I've heard of a buy guy, but a try guy, okay.
For me, I'm also going to pull from Chrono Trigger because this is a very hard question to answer. But I'm going to say Luca from Chrono Trigger. She is Chrono's best friend from the present in that game, and she is the like the engineer kind of person, the inventor kind of friend, plucky inventor kind of lady. And in the future, she goes on to run an orphanage, so she would be really supportive. Minimum of bullying. In this,
are
in
you
this
also not going to have parents in this situation, like Laura Croft?
No. She has she runs an orphanage. Her dad is still around in the at least in the present of the game.
Ben, no, hold on. We need to camp out on this. Ben, how do you think orphanages work?
Look, if you want to empathize with someone, you have to go all the way.
It's called solidarity, Dennis.
Dad, I'm sorry to let you know I've gotten a job at the orphanage.
Yeah.
No lie, this is literally a plot point in Beau is Afraid, the original draft of the script. Fun fact.
What is? Oh, the orphanage thing?
Orphans and killing your parents so you become an orphan.
Huh. I didn't see that movie. Let's see. So that was me. Ben, how about you?
I'm going with Kim Kitsuragi as the older sibling. He's going to be so nice. He's not going to beat you up or tease you, and he will stand up to bullies if anyone's bullying you. So
Yeah. That honestly, Kim was my first answer, but I feel like that's my answer for everything. So I was going to let somebody else take that bullet.
Literally any excuse to hang out with Kim. Like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
what video game character would you want to flay you and eat you alive?
It seems like it seems like Kim
respectful.
would be the most conscientious about it. Oh, Moxie, how about you?
Man, I don't know on this one. Like, there are a ton of them that I can think of that would be very bad ideas. Most notably, anyone from the Warframe universe. Family relationships are fucked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe someone from a fighting game. Like, I'd love to have someone I could share my love of martial arts with.
Okay.
The other one that I feel like could be fun is I feel like Otacon would be a fun, just dorky older brother.
Yeah. Otacon's a pretty good answer.
Moxie, you got to go to math class.
Oh, man. And Dennis, round us out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the shine by comparison comment from earlier. I'm gonna go with Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was actually my what I was thinking of when I said you could just choose someone that no one would ever be like. Why can't you just be like?
Yeah, like you don't have to worry about him outshining you too much. There's he's always going to be cool if you need to crash at his place for a little bit, and if stuff ever really goes south, he's going to be down to help you out. But otherwise, he's just going to be down for a good time.
Wouldn't that make you also brothers with Virgil?
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that one up.
Yeah, one of my answers was going to be like, oh, it'd be cool to have Claire Redfield as an older sister, but then you have Chris in the mix, and that's not good. Yeah,
Why can't you uppercut boulders like your brother?
yeah.
I feel like that's why there's a bunch of characters that I don't know. I've never realized the degree to which video game characters swing personalities widely.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are definitely versions of Chris that would be amazing older brothers. And there's also versions of Chris that are just fucking nuts.
I mean, anything from 5 on, I think, would be really bad. Like, okay, let's say Chris Redfield up through Code Veronica. Probably.
Well, here's the thing: you gotta consider, like, what were they like as a kid?
Yeah, see, I mean, we meet Chris when he's super young. Like every Resident Evil protagonist when they started was like he was an ace fighter pilot by the time he was 21. So like
I feel like having only played like 5 on, Chris feels like the most like cop ass person to ever to live.
yeah,
like,
and that's weird because
there's
Leon,
people that are actually cops.
Well, Leon wanted to be a cop, which is almost as bad, but technically quit on his first day. So I can't decide if that's if that is terrible or based. Yeah, big cop energy on Chris. The whole soldier deal.
The character that I don't think older brother, but like someone I would want to have mentor me. That's very much except when I wouldn't is when Revolver Ocelot is not being a crazy creepy dude.
Maybe Yeah.
Like the scenarios where he is actually being a mentor to someone, it's like, oh, this is someone that can actually do that. Also someone I would not trust with a 10-foot pole.
When he is the most supportive in Metal Gear Solid 5, that is also when he is doing the most torture.
Oh,
It's just off screen.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, he's a funny one in that it's like there is a side of you that could be a very good mentor, that sort of character. Unfortunately, you are very, very sick.
I need to correct myself because I am the world's largest idiot. Of course, Chris Redfield is a cop. He was a member of STARS, which is basically what if a SWAT team was all James Bonds?
The most.
Yeah,
cop.
did they ever explain, like, how big is Raccoon City supposed to be?
In my head, I always look at it like Pittsburgh.
See, I feel like, how is Pittsburgh fielding stars?
Well, I mean, Umbrella is completely propping up the police department.
Oh, is that a thing? Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like definitely like NYPD straight up has like paramilitary units, but
Yeah. No, I just said Umbrella was very specifically trying to make sure that they had basically a paramilitary in their service with that. In addition to the actual one they had with UBCS. But
I was gonna say, were any of the like Umbrella Black Ops games any good?
not really, no. Yeah, Umbrella Corps was
They're
pretty bad.
super-
Operation Raccoon City was pretty bad.
They're super popular with cosplayers, but
Yeah, well, you get like the evil versions of good characters and stuff, which seems fun, but yeah. Well, good question. Got a lot of discussion of us. Thank you so much for people's responses as well. If you would like to participate in these, join the Duckfeed community group on Facebook and watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons.
The end boss.
Now it is time for the End Boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games and how we feel about them. I'm going to get started again because this is qualified good news, let's say.
the
Yeah.
best type of good news? Question mark.
Maybe.
Definitively not.
Yeah. So this is okay. A little bit of background on this. Everybody knows Warner Brothers would rather completely kill a project for the tax write-off than just than put it out, right? Even before release, they will just kill it and then claim the tax write-off. Happens infamously. They also do that just by pulling perfectly good shows off of streaming, so they don't have to pay people royalties. Warner Brothers also, by virtue of its tangled web of ownership, has control over publishing rights of some video games as well.
Oh yeah, they've been pulling that bullshit.
Yes. So
Shadow of War, I think notably is one of their games.
yeah. But I think that might still be making them money, or that is a big enough intellectual property that they feel comfortable, like, okay, we can just let this stay up. It's Lord of the Rings, whatever. When it comes
Who
to
would notice if it disappeared?
when it comes to small developers, people that may not realize, Adult Swim, owned by Warner Brothers in some form or fashion, Adult Swim had a games division, and Adult Swim published a bunch of indie games, some really good ones too. I think like Duck Game is on there, or no, Super Ultimate Chicken Horse or whatever that is. They had quite a few games that they published that they announced were going to be quote unquote retired. And not delisted. No, it's not delisted. We're just opting to retire this one because why not?
Because Fired into the Sun doesn't have
Yeah.
that ring to it.
Yeah. So this was awful. Like, people who had their games up for sale on digital marketplaces learned that this was happening from the news when this came out, that Warner Brothers was going to be completely removing their games for sale from everywhere. The good news, and this is what makes this kind of a qualified good news, because it's not good that Warner Brothers ever was in a position to do that. But the good news is Warner Brothers has decided not to. Adult Swim games are going to continue to be listed, and the ownership rights are going back to the developers.
Ooh.
Hey.
I have no idea, like, whose heart grew 3 times that day, but probably more
But
of
they
that.
are probably dead.
Maybe. It depends on how fast it happens. So yeah, like Duck Game is on here. There are a couple of others, small radios, big televisions. What was that? Like fake desktop game that was like an old school RPG.
Is it
kind of deal?
Kingsway?
Yeah, Kingsway. That was another one that was on the chopping block. There were games that that were just not going to be available, and they finally relented on that. So, thumbs up. Good. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, rare W.
Mm-hmm. Especially when Warner's concerned. Dennis, keeping in the realm of indie games, what is the game I didn't know about but suddenly I'm excited for?
Yeah, Ron Gilbert decided to give us a little level 500 special. No, he's doing his own thing. I think this game was announced a while ago. He's doing his next game that maybe doesn't even have a name yet. I think not. It's just his next project.
Yeah, I don't think it has a name.
But, he is talking about it, describing it as classic Zelda meets Diablo meets Thimbleweed Park. And yeah, you heard that right. Ron Gilbert cited his own game as inspiration for his next game.
That's fine. Thimbleweed Park is honestly, very much like Monkey Island 2.
Yeah, it's honestly, yes, he's earned that. So it's set to release in 2024 this year, perhaps 2025, but hopefully 2024. And he's adding people to his team as well. Mm-hmm. So not familiar with the person that he's adding, but Alyssa Black, co-founder of Flat Earth Games, is going to be joining the team. And Ron says that she will make it 37% more likely that I'll finish the game before becoming bored and disillusioned. Mm-hmm. Which, yes, I like that to be the case.
Yeah.
He also shared a screenshot of the untitled game coming up here. And it's got very much the pixel art feel that previous games of his have had.
Yeah. But with kind of squat square tile characters. It looks great. Looks nice and colorful. Yeah. I'm curious because like Zelda, okay, Diablo, Thimbleweed Park. I have no idea what that's going to bring to this. Mixing it in, because it seems incompatible with the previous 2 examples that are given.
Yeah, it's intriguing to say the least, and something to look forward to in 2024, which we all need more of.
Yeah. I trust Ron Gilbert implicitly. He is a good dude who makes good games, so why not?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Let's see. Moxie, what's happening with Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, so they've announced their next, release of content. So the new killer is going to be Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons. Oh. And apparently the new victim survivors, I'm not sure what their terminology is going to be a pair of a male and female elf bards.
Okay.
And they've said that one of the mechanics is going to be when Vecna is one of the killers, chests will appear in the level. Mm-hmm. And when you open them, there'll be a random die roll, which can give the survivors loot that can help them try to win. However, apparently something bad happens if you roll a 1. However, they have not said next what yet.
Okay.
Although more interesting to me is they've said after that, the next tie-in they're going to do is Castlevania.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. They have not announced yet who the killer is going to be, although I kind of have a hard time seeing it be something other than Dracula.
Yeah, it's got to be. Although, like, Dracula's in the public domain now, right? You could do them just because you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
True. Although, like,
I don't know, like Devil May Cry. Wow, that also would be an interesting one. But no, Castlevania Dracula is not that similar to book Dracula, right?
He's kind of his own thing.
I want the killer to be a Konami exec who wants to turn it into a pachinko franchise.
Oh no, that's actually already almost a thing.
But
I think it's actually a K-pop exec, but like there straight up is a character that is like just an executive that is trying to kill his the people that work for him.
So Vince McMahon or whatever.
that is the weirdest way I've heard anybody say Vince McMahon.
Oh, there you go, McMahon.
Yeah, a monster in his own right. Dude
Vince
sucks.
McMonster.
Oh God.
I'm intrigued here because you talked about the bespoke survivors, and I haven't played. I always assumed that like the killers were the very like unique characters, and the survivors were all just kind of like
They're
avatars.
different.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Is it skins or do they actually have different abilities?
They have
Different
abilities.
things. Like you can straight up be Leon Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can also there's a Silent Hill character you can play as too. Like they have a pre-existing relationship with Konami. I don't know. This is cool. I think this is timed. There's a new the final 5th edition D&D campaign module is coming out, which is something related to Vecna. It's like a high level campaign going after Vecna. So this timing makes sense. When they do the when they do the Castlevania one, I really hope that it's the Castlevania 3 people who are your
Who are those?
that is, I believe, Castlevania 3. I need to see because I know it's not Simon. Who are the characters? It's Trevor Belmont, and then Grant, who is a pirate who jumps around, and then Sifa Belnades, who's a sorceress. Yeah, that's what I want. I don't know. They're probably just going to do Simon and Soma or something like that. But
Oh, as a side note, to give you an idea of some of the survivors, you can play as Bill from Left 4 Dead, Ash from Evil Dead, Leon, Nancy and Steve from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Ada
leaving out
Wong.
Nicolas Cage, are we?
Nicolas Cage, Alan Wake.
yeah, it's horror
Ripley
Smash Brothers.
from Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a
And
game
it's still a huge blind spot for the show.
It is, yeah.
It's like horror Fortnite.
I mean, what it comes down to is just read the lore. Like, the lore is amazing. You don't need any of the other stuff. Come on.
Everything that I've played that people have said, "Oh, this is like Dead by Daylight." They're not games that I especially enjoyed.
I feel like though, Ben, like you've played a ton of the games because like all the Halloween and stuff like that are all very much inspired by this.
The Friday the 13th is the one that I played that's closest to it. And I enjoyed that game, but I feel like that's a lightning striking sort of situation.
Yeah. And Ben, round us out with your story here about Valheim.
Yeah, this is a game I hadn't really thought of in a year or two, but apparently they just released a new update like today, like as of a few hours ago. So they released a Mistlands update about the time when I stopped playing, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And then this update that they have now is a new region called Ashlands, which looks like a volcanic type area. They released an anime trailer for it. I don't know why.
This is very Hades trailer kind of looking.
Yeah, it's
super
very
giant
like
looking.
cutting against the theme of Valheim or like the style of Valheim, but it's like shrug. I don't know if that gets people into the game. Cool, but whatever. Mechanically, what's interesting about it is it's like one of the things of the biome is there's a giant like fort in the middle of the biome that you have to try and siege, and so you have to try and make like a battering ram or catapults and that sort of thing to try and take it out in order to like make a base and like make the area hospitable. So that sounds like a cool differentiating point than the other biomes. So probably not going to go back to it and play it just because that's like staring down the barrel of a long gun. But
It's a lot of grinding.
yeah.
You don't want to level up each of your abilities painfully
did-
over time?
When I stopped playing, I did make sure to leave my character with like I don't know, like 300 pounds of like supplies that I could fit in my inventory so that I could start up and like hit the ground running. But I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to that point or not. So we'll see.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a show to me.
Holy shit! Did we just have 4 like mid to positive stories?
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, I'm sure some terrible
Wow.
things happened. I think we're
this is
probably
beautiful.
okay. Yeah,
Nice little sun break for episode 500.
Yeah. So we should quit while we're ahead. And
This was the last episode.
how do you all?
That can't be the title. That can't be the title.
That would be very funny if that was the title. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Let us button.
Zippers.
Stop it.
The credits.
Thank you so much for listening to level number 500. Thank you to everybody who has listened and supported us and kept us coming back by keeping coming back. It's wonderful. If you want to help celebrate, watch us stream some content warning on Friday night, the night that this comes out, 8 p.m. until probably about 10. I turn into a pumpkin after a couple of hours, but it'll be a good time. I'll probably have a beverage or two, and at least the 4 of us will be there. I'm going to encourage Jala to pop in on Discord to say hi. But yeah, it'll just be a nice low-key, fun way to mark the passing of 500 episodes. Yeah. Let's see. If you would like to, you can support us by going to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. You can also leave a rating, a review, or join the Duckfeed community group on Facebook and watch for the multiplayer prompts to go up. We really appreciate everybody who responds on those. Let me think here. Yeah, I would like to thank Jala, who is not here, but has been a huge contributor to the show. We really appreciate her doing what she does with and for us. And huge thanks to our producer, Gwen, who edits these episodes and has for the past year and change or so, also contributing to what we've got. And, thanks to everybody here. Thanks, you guys. I like that we do this.
Should we give a shout out to Gary Butterfield since he was on episode 2 and gave us like a huge bump that
Oh,
we
yeah. And Tyler Crumryan, he was also on one. Yeah. I think we had,
That's right.
maybe we had Allison on at some point too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe for like a bonus level.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. Yeah.
Also-
We're gonna have to go back and
undercut your
revise. We're gonna have to go back and revise our most rare host combinations.
Yeah, possibly.
now.
I think that I think that I excluded them, not out of any kind of meanness, but just because it's outliers, right?
Also, Gwen, who makes our shows not crap.
Yeah. Oh, I thanked her.
Oh,
Double
did you-
thanks.
did you- Oh, I missed that.
Get a tier 2 thanks.
I'd like to thank Gwen as well.
And tier
you know
3?
what? I really don't think that we could do this without Gwen, so thank you, Gwen.
I'll say platinum thanks to Gwen.
All right. I think that's everything. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Okay. Well, I've been Cole Ross. You can find me on Blue Sky at Cole Ross.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me on Blue Sky at Furia Games. And if you're going to be at Origins in Columbus in about a month, I will be at booth 1919.
I'm Moxie.
I'm Ben.
And stick around for some titles.
Easter egg.
I'm saying we do quit while we're ahead as the clickbaity title.
I'm gonna do Let's Quit. while we're ahead. I also had early on, I had your cones are offline, just kind of like that.
That's pretty good. I had flesh atrocities.
No.
What else?
I had several from early on. Malevolent stealth carpenters.
Okay.
I had how do you think orphanages work? I also had Vince McMonster, although that's a little on the nose.
Okay.
The joke has to have been made in other places several
probably.
times.
Yeah.
I had Quit While We're Ahead. Let's Quit While We're Ahead. And then, man, the latest of late entries. Thanks, Gwen.
I like the sentiment behind that, but I'm going to say it's Let's Quit While We're Ahead.
I can't argue with
those
that.
clicks.
Oh, gosh. Cool. Well, it's been fun doing
You are
500
all
of those.
awful people.
Taking a villainous arc after
Yeah.
500.
No, it's Let's Quit While We're Ahead. So if we ever get ahead, we'll see.
So, second things start going well. All right. It is decided.